This Sinn 556A happens to be one of the most boring watches in my collection. And yet, strangely enough, it's one of the most beautiful ones as well. There's something going on with this watch. It's so minimalistic, so simple, so pure. The design elements are just spectacular. Now, it's not a perfect watch, it's far from it. Such a watch does not exist, we all know this. But this particular watch is a working man's watch. It's a watch that I wear and I need a tool. This is what I bring. It's a no-nonsense, no fuss, boring watch, but it's spectacular. You see, there's certain things that watches give us. We buy them for a reason. There's certain attributes, there's certain feelings that we get from watches. And for me, this particular one, albeit boring, it's brilliant. There's a satinized finish on the bracelet and the case that just beams. It just exudes quality. And I like that. It's telling me you've got a really well-made German watch. And for those who know German products, I've had a lot of German products in the past and they're made really, really well. Now, for a daily wear at work or in the office or on the job location, this watch's dimensions are spectacular. Coming in at 38.5mm with around 11mm of height, the dimensions and proportions, they just seem to work. And a lot of people say, oh, 38.5 is not a big watch, it's too small, it's too small. Well, I've got a 7-inch wrist, and 38.5 on my wrist works really well. And I only say that because this watch is all dial. And when you get a watch that's all dial at 38.5, it's like wearing a 41mm watch or thereabouts. And that's great. But that height at 11mm is beautiful. It just seems to be the right proportions for a daily wearer. Now, a lot of you guys know me that I love to wear my watches on leather straps, rubber straps, NATOs. I love to switch them out, and this is probably the only watch in my collection that has to stay on this H-Link bracelet. See, when I see this watch, I see this look. It's just industrial, a toolish feel. It's a really beautiful finesse look. To me, this look of this watch case and this bracelet is a marriage made in heaven. I think the Germans got it right. They got this design right. It's a product of careful consideration, simplicity, excellent styling, ingenuity in the placement of everything on this dial. Even that 4:30 date being so small. You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's so small, it's insignificant, but that's the beauty of it. It's there. I don't really use dates on my watches, but knowing that it's there, if I need it, I'll have a look at it. But because it's so small and insignificant, it doesn't get in the way of that beautifully balanced dial. Those bold, pronounced Arabics 12, 3, 6 and 9, they guide the way to excellent time telling on this watch. The purity of just that Sinn logo with Made in Germany at the bottom is brilliant. So, like I said, it's a boring looking watch, but it's not. It's absolutely beautiful. If you're an engineer, if you're a designer, something with graphic arts, this thing should appeal to you. And this is why this particular brand is so popular. People love this brand because it just seems to tick the right boxes. But what I love most about Sinn watches is how they make you feel. But not only that, how they feel. You see, there's a particular quality coming off this watch that when you run your hands across that case, that satinized case or that bracelet, you think to yourself, gee, this is exuding quality. When you unscrew that crown and it comes out, there's a healthy pop, but when you wind the movement or the latch down experience is buttery smooth, you know you've got a quality timepiece that's designed to go the test of time. And that's what people love about these watches. Well, that's what I do anyway. This is one of the cleanest dials that I have in my collection. I look down, I read the time, I move on. Job done. That's what a watch is meant to do, give you the time. And being a pilot's inspired watch, it's so legible, it's so quick to read, it's great. Now, admittedly, this watch is not perfect, like I said, and no watches are. That lume, for example, it's extremely legible, however, it does not last. It doesn't pass the test of longevity. And that's a bit of a bummer because the watch itself is spectacular. That clasp only offers 3 micro adjustments. And again, Totally unnecessary to have a diver's extension when I'm not going to go diving. But although it does have a diver's extension, the quality is great. They've not skimped on what they've offered. But it definitely needs a fourth micro adjustment. And whilst I'm on the bracelet, if you look at those Allen key screws, they're incredible. They give you reassurance, they give you a solid, well-engineered, well-designed finish. It just complements the quality of this watch. Everything on this watch, from its drilled lugs to its satinized finish to its extremely legible dial, is screaming, I'm a very, very capable tool and a good looking one at that. This is definitely by far the most legible watch in my collection. It's a no-nonsense design. It's sexy, it's beautiful, and extremely boring, and that's what I love about it. Is there room for improvement on this particular watch? Absolutely. There's room for improvement on every watch. But we buy watches for a reason. The way they make us feel. Well, that's why I do. The way a watch makes me feel. Is it functional? Is it practical? Is it sexy? Is it stylish? Does it fit well? Is it bothersome? There's reasons why we buy watches. For me, this Sinn 556A is one of the nicest tools that I have in my watch collection. It's practical, it's fun, it's stylish, it gets attention, and yet it's understated. You gotta love a watch like this. To me, this watch, it tells the time, and it tells the time really well. It's unobtrusive, it's very precise, and yet it's understatedly boring, and that's why I love it. It's one of the nicest pieces to wear on a daily basis. If push came to shove and one day I had to reduce my collection down to just a handful of watches, I'm pretty sure this watch would be in there. It's one of those timepieces which, gee, I really don't want to get rid of it. It's just, it does everything I need, and it does it really well. Whether you get a chocolate version of this watch, or a blue one, or a pearl one, or a black one, or something with red accents, I don't think you can really go wrong with this brand. For me, I'm seeing a company here that's 60 years old, and it's showing its maturity in the simplicity and purity of its designs. You see, to me, it's more than just about this particular watch. It's about this particular company, Sinn. I absolutely love it. I think what they're producing is not only stylish, is not only built well, is not only practical, but it's beautiful. Boringly beautiful. Just keeping it real. Thanks for watching.